Welcome. For those of you who've been with me since day one, thank you. For my new people, hey! So for today's recipe, we are going to make buttermilk biscuits. You can have these at any point of the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. You can have them with jelly, honey, put a chicken in there, whatever you want on the inside, but it's definitely better than what you get in a can. So let's get to it. For this recipe, you will need 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 1 cup and 3 tablespoons of cold buttermilk, 1 stick of frozen butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of honey, and for our honey butter you will need 3 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of honey. And preheat your oven at 425. So first we're going to start with our butter. I'm just going to cut this into cubes. Bring over our flour, dump our butter in. Make sure you get oil. Now we're going to add our baking powder, teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to use this handy dandy pastry blender, and this just helps work with cold butter, mixing cold butter with flour. We're going to create a little well. We're going to add our buttermilk and our honey. I always go a little bit over just because it sticks to the spoon. If you don't want to use honey, you can use sugar, same amount. We're just going to mix it in with our little spatula here. I'm going to dump my dough here on this surface so that I can work it. Work this into like a rectangle. Fold in the ends into the middle. Now I'm going to use my biscuit cutter here. This is the biggest one I have. They should be this thick. Now I'm going to work this dough again until I get more biscuits. You should have about 7 or 8 biscuits out of this. Do the same thing again. Alright, so we got 7 thick biscuits. And this little last piece here, I am going to use. This is not going to be as thick as my other biscuits or as pretty. There we go. So I'm going to bake these in my cast iron pan here. So I have some butter that I'm going to use to grease this bad boy. Now you're going to add your biscuits in. Okay, so now you're gonna bake these for 15 minutes. So while we wait for our biscuits to bake, we are gonna make our honey butter, and it's not nothing out of this world. Just gonna melt the butter we have here, which I've already done. We're gonna add our 2 tablespoons of honey. Just gonna mix this together. Now you can taste this if you want it more sweeter. By all means, add more honey. But this is the standard way I make it for my biscuits. And remember, your biscuits have honey in it. Alright, so we're just going to set this aside and wait for our biscuits to be done. Alright, so our biscuits are out. I did bake mine for an additional 5 minutes only because my oven is a little bit funny, but I don't think you will need to bake them more than 15 minutes. So I'm just gonna show you one before I butter them. Woo! It's kinda hot, but here's our biscuit. Nice and crunchy on the bottom. Woo! All right, so we have our honey butter. Just gonna grease the top of our biscuits here. And because they're still very warm, it's gonna melt nicely on top because it did get a little thick since it was sitting out. Oh, this smells awesome. I can't wait. Okay. Ooh. Right, so I'm going to taste just a little bit. Dip it in this butter up top. Perfect. That is a perfect biscuit. Because they're thick, you can cut a couple tablespoons of your butter and just slide it in the middle there. If you want it to be a little bit more buttery. That is good. You can eat these with strawberry jam, grape jelly. All right, so if you want to take a chance on this recipe, please be sure to take a picture and tag my Instagram page at G Culinary Adventures, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, bye.